National Soccer Network presents the Major League Indoor Soccer and Women's Major League Indoor Soccer Finals weekend. 8 teams have traveled from across America to hoist a championship trophy at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. From the first whistle to the final second, expect intensity, passion, and drama at every turn. The finals start right now.
Semifinal number 3 is moments away here on Semifinal Saturday here in the Major League Indoor Soccer League. My name is Ryan Glinsky. We're live here on the National Soccer Network. We're moments away from semifinal number 2 on the women's side. Could we see potentially 2 first-year teams playing, the Phoenix Pulse and Salt Lake City, or will the reigning champs, Chicago Mustangs, have other things to say? Let's toss it over to our dapper, really rocking some great NSN polos, Kevin Arnold and Tanner White.
Folks, we did not pay him to say that. And are you tired of seeing us yet? So yes, I'm Tanner White, Stats and Information Director here with Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. He is Kevin Arnold, the voice of the Cleveland Crunch.
Going to get me in trouble at some point tonight.
Yes, I should hope so. That seems highly likely. And if you look in front, you'll see, hey, we got a soccer match to play soon. The Phoenix Pulse Football Club, newcomers to WMLIS's Western Conference this season, finishing second to Salt Lake City. And those standings briefly flashed up there, but you also saw the Chicago Mustangs on the other side, a 9-1 record for them to take the top spots in that East Conference. There it is, the best goal differential in that East with a plus 40, and they are defending champions from last season. They know their standard, they know their expectations, but for the first time ever have been defeated to end the regular season against Fort Wayne. And you saw what that Salt Lake City side did in the first semifinal of the day, a 19-1 bomb. They made a statement. Chicago knows what's in front of them.
They know what's in front of them, but all that's in front of them right now is the Phoenix Pulse, and they have to get the job done. Shannon Walter, player coach, is trying to lead her team back to a championship match, and of course join Salt Lake City there, and we'll get the final men's semifinal later, and we'll figure out who will face Toronto, who won 11-5 just moments ago. But right now, focus is only on the WMLIS. Chicago Mustangs, Phoenix Pulse, looking forward to this one.
Lights are bright out here in Las Vegas. Hot, sweaty even, you might say. And what more would you ask for on championship weekend? Once more, I'm Tanner White, and he's Kevin Arnold. And let's take it to the break and come back and be with you just a few. Kickoff upcoming. And we welcome you back once more. Looking live inside Orleans Arena in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada for championship weekend. You see it on your screen, semifinal number 2 of the day, your final semifinal, say that 3 times fast, of the 2026 Women's Major League Indoor Soccer season. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold, so glad to be with you. Take a look at that full playoff field. We've already seen a couple of squads go down. Salt Lake City on one side, on the women's side, fantastic. They just made their exit on the men's side against Toronto, 11-5. And, man, Phoenix and Chicago, we're in for another really good one. I struggle to predict this one, and I struggle to know what we're going to see on either side. What we do see, the record coming up for Phoenix, year 1 in WMLIS, a 6-4 record, losing only to Salt Lake City, 0-4 in those matchups, but the whole rest of the season, very solid, 69 goals for with a plus 25 differential, and earned themselves a very respectable second seed in the West.
And I'm looking at that plus 25 goal differential number for Phoenix because, you look at the other side with Chicago, I think it was 40 goals to the good for the Mustangs, as, we see them pop up on the screen right now as well. But I'm looking at that plus 25 knowing that means Phoenix can play some defense, maybe some defense, a defensive scheme that Chicago hasn't seen yet. I think has been kind of the theme of the night. Opponents that don't get to play against each other, don't know each other as well, all going off of film coming into this one.
You bet. There's a lot to watch with the Chicago Mustangs as they are returners from last season and last season's inaugural WMLIS champions. A 9-1 record, but defeated for the very first time by Fort Wayne in the final match of the season. Here's your starting lineups. Your goalkeeper matchup should be a good one. Melissa Avendano and Joanna Mercado in goal for Phoenix and Chicago, respectively. Cassie Hale, Jessica Hale. Boy, we told you about all the Jesses and the Jessicas, and we want to just warn you once more of this. Our apologies on all of those. But Allie Moon, the owner there with Phoenix, has a fantastic sense of humor about it. She says, yeah, it's all Jesses and Jessies and Jessicas, and so we got to be really careful on the field of how we communicate, and that sometimes crossed them up, and it's hilarious.
And I think another good thing is there's been kind of a family affair as part of this championship weekend as well. A lot of families represented within teams, amongst organizations, and all of that. And we'll have a story kind of similar to that in the final semifinal of the night. But it's got to be so fun to be able to be alongside family members that you've been around your whole life and kind of share these great experiences, these great opportunities. And what an opportunity tonight on a national stage here on the National Soccer Network for both of these squads to really show what WMLIS is all about.
Absolutely. You're going to see the tattooed arm of Allie Moon as she just drifted out of the camera frame. But indeed, that is Phoenix's owner. Now she comes back in. There is Allie Moon also with the wrist taped. And she leads her fearless squad out here in Las Vegas. The rest of that Chicago starting lineup, we'll get back to it. Sang-Jun Hornewer and the defending MVP and Golden Boot winner for that inaugural season, Stephanie Nunez. Nunez a little bit slower this season, scoring her own goal pace. She told me at times she was frustrated. She told me at times she was dealing with a foot injury that kind of started showing up towards the end of last year's regular season. And even so, manages to nearly tie for the league lead in assists and is a huge creator and scored a hat trick for the first time this season in that final match of the regular season against Fort Wayne. That was back just a week ago. So, quick turnaround for the Chicago side, too.
Quick turnaround, and something I know Ryan Glinsky kind of talked about with Toronto in our last semifinal on the men's side. Being able to play the weekend before. Some teams had 2 weeks off. They a de facto bye week, if you will, coming into championship weekend. Does it play better for someone that's more in form and, kind of keeping that energy? Because it's one thing to try to simulate game-like energy, game-like passion and adrenaline. It's another thing to actually play in it. And the more that you experience it and the more you don't have time between that, sometimes that can really play into a benefit of a team like Chicago.
There's no doubt it can. Rounding out the rest of that lineup, your starting defenders for Chicago, 21, Yeyas Macias, a rookie that everybody loves, really physical and aggressive. Stephanie Freund, the defending Defensive Player of the Year selection from last year. And Shannon Walter, your player coach, really took over the day-to-day runnings of this club and continues to create, is on the MVP ballot. Again, I think a stats and information director, that's maybe a privileged information, but we can share that. She's also on the voting for first team all-league forward, and just her impact is felt everywhere. She did pick up a hamstring injury, which we talked very candidly about in our pre-production meetings. She was injured in the final match of the regular season. Again, that was Saturday, just a week ago on the 21st, and she told us, quote, "I am going to play. We'll see how effective I'm going to be."
And she was adamant, like very quickly said, "I'm going to play." She was like, "I got to go through the therapy. I got to figure all these things out." I even offered, if she needed some advice. I have, my wife is a physical therapist, so if she needed anything. But clearly she found a way to get herself ready to go, and she's not going to miss this chance to be alongside her team and be in the semifinals and try to get to that championship match against Salt Lake City.
You bet, Kevin. One side of this bracket's already been set on both of our leagues, WMLIS and MLIS, but who's the other one representing each in that championship match tomorrow? It's going to be a 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. affair. You'll be here. I'll be here. Ryan Glinsky will be here in the studio with us when he's finished with his drink.
Oh, Ryan. We'll have plenty of great reports coming, though, from him.
Cherry Pepsi was good. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Crucial information of the broadcast is just coming in. That's one that's hot in your ear, and you say, "Oh, I got to let everybody know."
Yes. But I know he has a notebook full of stuff on all of these games that will be getting going, but we turn it over inside the arena to the national anthem.
All right, Kevin. All pomp, all circumstance aside, soccer match to be played.
Soccer match to be played. Pleasantries, of course, will be set aside once that whistle goes from the first, second, all the way up until whenever that final whistle blows here in this one tonight. They know what's on the line. They know what's in front of them. They know what the team waiting for them in the championship did in their first match, but they can't worry about that score line or anything like that. All that matters, put yourself in the situation, the dance, if you will, of that championship match, and anything can happen. I say it all the time. You get in the dance, you got a chance, and both of these teams have a chance here tonight.
Very nice, Kevin. I'm so glad that I've already heard something from you for this match that I've never heard before. That's a priceless experience. Folks, what a weekend we've already had with you, and to think that we survived some of the delays here, to think that we've had two historic matches in so many different ways already. That Salt Lake City women's side is just stunning us. Like, we're still running through all the numbers on this. We're saying, can this be right? Is this even possible? The answer is yes, they did it. All of it, no matter what you're thinking. It was insane. Dominique Estrada, I think that's my performance of the weekend so far that I would highlight. 8 goals and an assist. That is unspeakable. The previous single game records, right, for goals and points, 6 and 7. Again, all memes aside. And now it's 8 goals and 9 points total. Absurd. Take a look at a few of those.
And you see some of that action earlier from Salt Lake City and Fort Wayne on the women's side of things. Like you talked about, Dominique Estrada, 9 total points. You get a point for every goal and assist that you have in a match. And, Tostado was doing her thing. Evans Tostado was doing her thing as well. That combination up top was so dangerous. But Estrada, to get 9 points in one match. Some players just don't get the opportunity to get 9 points in a season. She put up 9 points in one match, 8 of those points being from the goal variety. You just don't see that.
No, you don't. That is so, so special, and she's in the history books now, no matter if you've got the asterisk by it for the playoffs or not. Again, I think that's yours truly eventually having to make that decision, isn't it? Oh, but let's kick it off. What do you say we have the semifinal number 2 here for Women's Major League Indoor Soccer for the 2026 season. Defending champions Chicago Mustangs and the new kids on the block out in the West. Aren't they all? Because that West Conference just forming this season. But, again, that speaks to the huge growth of this league, Kevin. 4 teams last year, doubles to 8 this year. You add the entire West Conference. You drop one from the Midwest with POW Chicago departing, and you add another 5. It's so, so special.
It is special. It is absolutely special.
All right, so this ball skipped well up into the stands, and unfortunately, we were just waiting on somebody else to. Now, I thought our official was going to play hero ball and go get that himself.
I thought he was too. He looked like he was ready to go, but Phoenix on the attack already.
Yeah, an early shot is blasted right up onto that Las Vegas Turf Monsters logo. Again, those are our host clubs. Wait for 7, Jessica Raby to control here for Phoenix. Take a turn, shot, score! Good morning. Wake up, Las Vegas.
Man, oh man, quick on the turn as you watch it again. Just battling for the ball, finds it on her left foot, puts it back where it came from. Everybody is shifting over to their right. She puts it back past their left, past the keeper, and Phoenix strikes first.
So would you believe it's a Jess who gets that touch and that score? Jess Raby. College teammate of Allie Moons at Arizona State University. Oh, that is a fantastic start for this Phoenix side. In Chicago, they've had a handful of goals conceded, the very first one in the match, but they just don't expect to be in that position of trailing very often at all, and that's been from the moment that they took the pitch last year. Now there's another shot, wide open, it's another Jess Salonik. She puts it down.
Again, great touch of the ball, great turn, and just putting it where it needs to. There's not a lot pretty behind it. It's not a lot of power behind it, but that is okay. Loses her defender on the turn. Nothing the keeper, Mercado, can do. And Phoenix, man, oh man, you want to make a name for yourself. You punch first against the defending champions, and you put a 2-spot in the first couple minutes.
Yeah, this would be the time and the way to do it, wouldn't it? And look at their team speed on display. Finally, a stuff for the defending Defensive Player of the Year, Stephanie Freund. 28 in the black for these Chicago Mustangs. But the damage is done for the first 2 goals. Phoenix Pulse leading 2-0. Wrapping around the boards, Mercado knocks the first one, second, third try. Finally, the third one was blocked, but you had 2 saves first.
Way to get up from Mercado, get those 3 saves back to back to back, keeping her team in it.
Look, this first 2 minutes and 30 seconds is worth the price of admission if you bought a ticket. Come on.
Absolutely. Like I said, Phoenix, we talked about the speed of the team out of Salt Lake City. Phoenix trying to show they got some speed as well, and they're feeling good coming into the semifinals.
Yeah, you're cooking early on against these defending champs. And an epic final it was last year. Now, yours truly incredibly biased in this one. That's a lot of contact with Yeyas Macias there, 21. She is not whistled for Chicago, so they're going to play on through it. Again, yours truly quite biased, as I was able to call that final, right? Chicago played Fort Wayne. Those were the 2 top clubs last year, just out of 4. Nunez's turn, a little bit wide. And it became so epic, a back and forth, up, down, and around fourth quarter where everybody was throwing the haymakers. Kelly Collins would eventually get the game-winning score. Fort Wayne would cut it all the way to 8-7 with under a minute to play, but just never able to get up that equalizer Rachel Swigard in that contest for Fort Wayne with 4 scores. Carmen Swigard, the defending goalkeeper of the year, we saw in semifinal number 1, a 27 saves, a career high at the time. Just an epic match in every way in that one. I hope we're in for something just as good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Good job by Avendano coming off her line to get that one cleared.
Yeah, that goalkeeper, Melissa Avendano. They tell us that they feel really good, does Phoenix, about Angelina Valdez, should they have to at any point make the changes. But they loved Avendano's work this season. The 4-3 record as a starting keeper doesn't really tell you exactly how well she played. Did pitch one of the 3 shutouts in WMLIS this season. The first 3 in the history of the league. And, of course, they all happened on that Las Vegas weekend. February 7th and 8th, the Las Vegas Turf Monsters organization, they hosted at Big League Dreams, another Las Vegas-based arena, and 3 shutouts over the first 5 matches of that weekend. It was insane.
Chicago looks like they're trying to find that offensive synergy now. They're taking a little bit more possession, a little bit more air out of the ball, trying to slow things down, which when you go against a team that has a lot of pace, you have to find different moments, take advantage of moments where you can just slow things down. That a bit of a rushed pass there or attempt at shot, but for the most part, trying to slow things down.
Everybody gets a little chance to breathe as for Emma Eddy stops to tie her shoe. Eddy, a 32-year-old Heinsberg, Vermont native. One of those a little further from home. You have a lot of Phoenix, Arizona natives, including the keeper, Melissa Avendano, but not limited to her. Jess Solanik was another one of those. Solanik actually 38 years of age, so she is, again, we say this, the nicest way that we possibly can, but just telling the true story, is the eldest stateswoman at 38 years of age. And Solanik has in no way showed that and is one of the top scorers on this club. We're getting top of the arc. The approach coming in a moment for 77 Flores. 32 Carol Fernandez Soto. Whiffed. Flores' try. Soto a little touch. Kelly Collins, you're going to see her with the pink headband. That's Chicago's leading scorer. 17 goals on the season for her. Stephanie Nunez watches this as the whistle blows, bounding just beyond that midfield stripe.
So something that Coach Shannon Walter is going to be calling out to her team right there. There was a golden opportunity to strike back against Phoenix, and everything just felt rushed. We talked about slowing things down. That whole sequence, it looked like something off of the training pitch, just rushed, I think, too much. Everyone trying to think a half a second before they needed to in that instance.
Stephanie Nunez challenged there by 6. Jessica Hale, and has to give it up. Do you like the one leg sleeve kind of look?
I do in basketball. I haven't seen it as much in soccer. I'm starting to see it more in soccer.
You are starting to see it drip in, especially to the indoor game. Oh, thank you, Ryan.
I think it's really drippy. I think you get like plus 10 aura with the leg sleeves. I don't know, Kevin, if you understand the aura thing, but I know generation gap and everything, but I think it looks sick.
We've now flipped to the Gen Z portion of the show. Our apologies. I think Kevin is going to use his cough button, and then when he comes back in, we'll do the rest of this contest. Oh boy, we got about 8.5 minutes to play here for the first quarter. And again, if you look up at your scores, at your screen here, you're going to see a soccer match playing out. If you could focus on that.
Yes, whether you're Gen X, Gen Z, Millennial, whatever it is.
Baby boomers even. If the boomers have found this game, hey, congratulations.
Yes, absolutely. So, Phoenix off to a good start here against Chicago. Chicago trying to build from the back each and every single time. And it's interesting, we saw high press in the first 2 semifinals, one for the women, one for the men. We saw that high press tactic, and we'll probably see that later on. Phoenix, they are willing to just sit back, try to win the ball, I think, and go on that counterattack with their speed. That's where they're trying to beat the Mustangs.
This is loose. Kaylee Kowal, a shot. Second, out and scored. Hannah Larson for Chicago. Cuts it to 2-1. All right, take a look at it. Larson has this first try here. That's blocked off of Cassie Hale. Kaylee Kowal, that first shot. Avendano does make the stuff and then is beaten down left and low by Larson.
Good job by Larson to just stick with it there. Saw it come out to her foot. Just put it past because there was traffic in front of the goalkeeper there. So all she knew she had to do was just put it on frame and had a good chance to score. And she does cuts the lead in half. Chicago gaining some control back.
There's another big collision. A shot. The worm burner saved by Mercado.
So about halfway through this quarter now, just over halfway through. And, you know, you see the first punch, the first attack from Phoenix. I think Chicago has done a good job of weathering that storm, that early burst of adrenaline from Phoenix. This is an experienced team, and you expect them to have that sort of ability and mental toughness to do so. Phoenix, I'm sure, wants to be the team that scores next, get back to that 2-goal lead.
And Chicago never expecting to find themselves trailing by even 2. Shot, save. Center mass, once more Mercado. That follow-up for Addison Kress is no dice for Phoenix.
They're getting their opportunities, and now the game is really starting to open up. End-to-end action.
Kelly Collins starting the chance for Chicago. Now they'll have to slow it down, see how far they'll pull it out. Stephanie Freund lurking. Deas Macias over to her left. Kelly Flores snapped it off and knocked away by Avendaño in goal. Again, your reserve keeper for Phoenix is Angelina Valdez wearing 1. Avendaño going with the 99. Cool-looking goalkeeper kit. That ball is bounding right by the table. Hey, somebody's got to make a play on that. And this should very clearly signal to our officials it's time to get that timeout. There you go. See, when it's that in front of your face, you can't deny it.
You can't deny it at all. Phoenix, again, still holding that lead. Good start for them. Chicago starting to find a little rhythm.
Tanner White and Kevin Arnold here on the National Soccer Network. Back with you out of the break in a few. We are back out of the immediate timeout for the first period, folks. It's 2-1 Phoenix over the defending champion Chicago Mustangs. While we've got you here, we want to tell you all about Rematch. Don't just watch the action, capture it. Download Rematch, the free sports highlight app that makes it easier than ever to record the biggest moments using AI technology that allows you to save the play after it happens. From goals to game-changing saves, you can capture it all right from your seat. Clips are instantly available and ready to share, and you might see your highlight featured on social media. So we play with just about 6.5 here in the first quarter. Chicago, Phoenix, defending champs, and the newcomers. Stephanie Nunez, a touch here. Nunez is guarded tight. You thought you were going to see the double come onto her. Nunez's shot is blocked. Picked up, though, in the attacking end for Carol Fernanda Soto. Soto has sort of the unfortunate distinction of having the only 2 red cards in the history of Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. It's funny. You don't see this creep in very often, but it's always been in the rulebook and everybody knows it. Accumulation of 3 cards within one contest. That is 3-time penalties. Twice throughout this season, Soto was, you want to say a victim of those, tongue-in-cheek.
Victim of them, yes. But red cards, not, it's a very, I would say, a rarer thing in soccer, but honestly, you start to see them come out a little bit more. But in the indoor game especially, even with games that have cards all over the place, you don't see it that often.
Great movement. Larson, once more, equal. It's a fantastic feed, and Larson is left no choice but to put it down.
Larson just sitting there right on the doorstep in the middle of that box, gets set up beautifully in the box, and Larson puts it home. And that will be, of course, Carol for Ferranda Soto. Just talking about Soto, she put it on a plate and knocking it home for Larson, so she brings him back.
To think that it's none of the usual suspects for Chicago, you know what I mean? That's
Yes.
kind of insane. You got Kelly Collins, scored 17 this year. That's third in the entire league. You have Stephanie Nunez is the all-time leading scorer in this league, and we'll continue to tell you all about that throughout this match. 29 goals of her own. And then Shannon Walter, you know what she does on attack, and instead, Hannah Larson putting in the first two huge ones, even at 2, under 5 minutes. The little push maybe. Wrapped around the boards here. See what Chicago's plan is to clear. 6 saying June Hornewer is going to be identifiable by the, well, you want to say the black headband, but then you also see Val Battisti with the top not there, and she's also got the black headband, and I said, oh, darn it, that ain't going to work. Interception, shot a little bit wide for Phoenix's 2, Madison Lorenzen.
Beautiful save by Mercado on the rebound, too. That one came out of nowhere.
Mercado's got a physical presence in that goal frame. You know what I mean? Carmen Swigard was kind of the same way. Of course, she's the defending goalkeeper of the year with Fort Wayne, and you got to see, of course, what Salt Lake City did. Unfortunate, but tough to pin that on a goalkeeper. And just look at her physically, right? And, I mean, she owns the space between those posts quite well. Ball's bounding down into the attacking end for Chicago, though not by much. About 3.5 minutes to play here for the first quarter. 2 apiece. Nunez crossing over for Freund. Freund too high. And that's close to the area of a restart. If it goes over the level of those boards at any point, then play will be stopped, whistle be blown. Collins rebounds! Oh, that's close.
Ryan, I know we're now tied at 2-2 between Phoenix and Chicago. I think we were talking to Chicago this week and not seeing Phoenix. They said they'd have to, I think, talked about figuring it out on the fly. Is that right?
Yeah, talking with Chicago this week, they mentioned they've never played Phoenix, and that's when we asked key to the game, what are you guys looking at? And they said, well, we haven't really played them. We're going to figure it out on the fly. Well, they got punched in the mouth early to going down 2-0 in the opening minutes, but I think, guys, they've really started to figure things out, and they're starting to get into that rhythm.
Yeah, as you cut it back to even, then you're kind of back to square one. This has that feeling of the 0-0 game where everybody is still feeling each other out, and they're going to make further adaptations before this one goes along. Freund and Raby collapsing on each other on the wall. Again, you get a good look at that. Uh-oh. Oh, no, Mercado lost the handle, and she couldn't clear it off the line. It's going to be a gimme for Raby.
Mercado just taking her eye off of it just for a second as they passed this one back. She looked up, was looking for a pass as she was going to make it, and that one is always going to continue to roll across the AstroTurf style playing surface we have this evening. And unfortunately, fortunately for Phoenix, unfortunately for Chicago, Phoenix able to recapture the lead.
Remind everybody, just for those who weren't with us in those earlier semifinals, where this turf came from, Kevin?
Don't want to.
No, it's not that you don't want to. It's that I'm asking you to respectfully.
Cleveland.
Yes.
It came from Cleveland.
Yes, it did. From the Wolstein Center at Cleveland State University.
Yes, proud alum of Cleveland State University. I am
No
with
way.
my teaching degree, yes.
How did I never catch? That's a shame on me. That's a failure of my own preparation, Kevin Arnold. Shame on me.
Yes, Cleveland State University, got my teaching degree there, and now I'm working in radio, not even using it.
Yes, it's funny how that should work, isn't it? Topped here by Val Battisti, collected to the keeper, Melissa Avendano. She pump faked 3 or 4 times, now finally is able to get this hook shot out of here. And whistled. Let's see, this is well away from the ball. And we're not talking defensive clearance because at no point did that ball go over the wall. You're still having the advantageous free kick here from the top of the arc. They've got devastating set plays, does the Chicago side. Nunez, Flores, Soto. Off to the right. Nunez blocked by Raby. They're going to call for a handball, and our referees will not see it that way.
I think Phoenix may have saw that one on tape. Continue the attack here. Get back to that point here in just a second. I'll let you roll there, Tanner. Apologies.
Yeah, not a problem. But so many different set plays this season, and sometimes I wonder if they're doing the Mahomes and Kelsey thing and they're drawing them up in the dirt. Wrapped around the boards. Soto tried to stuff it in. Horneuer shot, top post. Ouch.
And crossbar challenge won, but no goal scored there. You don't get any points on the crossbar challenge in the middle of the match.
They're all out here hitting trick shots, but the score will sit at 3-2 Phoenix. Flores from way long range off of the back of Jess Raby again.
I was going to say, Phoenix, though, great scouting. You don't get a chance to play against someone. That was great scouting in their regard. They saw where that pass was going, even with all the misdirection, all the movement. Good job to get that block off that dangerous set piece.
And wouldn't you probably identify your all-time leading scorer and your defending MVP and your Golden Boot winner from last year, Avendano, kick save and a beauty? I'm just thinking, perhaps I would. Now, I'm no coach. Oh, no, it's off of the keeper and in. Once more, it's a gimme, but Nunez picks it up.
So what the soccer gods take away, they give back to you if you are Chicago. And, of course, Phoenix give it to you and take it away. 2 goalkeeper mistakes, one on both sides. We sit even here in this first quarter, far from figured out how this one is going to go, but that's exactly what we are looking for and what we knew we would be in store for as this afternoon and evening continued on.
Yeah, and it'll continue on, don't you worry. But a fantastic first quarter. It's 3-3, Phoenix and Chicago. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold, and we'll be back with you out of the quarter break. 3 more quarters of this? Yes, please.
In Barca camp, I sing my song "Grown" on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
All right, folks, welcome back inside Orleans Arena here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Seeing the highlights from that first quarter, there were plenty of them. up, down, and around this pitch. These Phoenix Pulse Football Club members are in a scrap with the defending champion Chicago Mustangs. Take a look at that ball. Today's match is played with the official ball of the WMLIS Select. Built for performance, precision, and durability, Select soccer balls are designed to elevate every level of the game. And Kelly Collins is on that red dot. Let's kick it off for quarter number 2. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold, so glad to be with you, alongside Ryan Glinsky in the studio, here with the National Soccer Network. 3-all, Phoenix and Chicago deadlocked. You said it. Soto with a ridiculous slap save from Avendano, but you said it. Both keepers made one mistake in that quarter. Call that what it is. Everything else was just really good attacks and really strong midfield defending.
It was, and you look at Phoenix getting off to that fast start, using their speed. Chicago figures it out. They're able to tie up the match with Hannah Larson, and now everything, the mistakes even each other out. You're even going into the second quarter, and you're seeing a lot better ball movement as this game goes on. And Chicago, you see why they're at the pinnacle of WMLIS, and they are part of the standard here in the league.
They are. They know what the expectation is for their own club, and to see them ever lose was shocking. They had that feeling, and they had that kind of look on their faces. I was of course at that game in Fort Wayne, the final regular season match, just a week ago on Saturday, and they were like, this is so strange. This is a Twilight Zone episode, but they had, of course, some real logistical issues with that match, and it was an 8 a.m. kickoff. I don't know if you saw that one over in Fort Wayne, so that's completely unenviable. And then you got to either make that drive very, very early in the morning, essentially in the middle of the night, or you get up and stay there. Shot saved by Joanna Mercado in goal. Yeah, but Cassie Hale was lurking. That was probably an uncomfortable, and it's still not cleared away, so here's the thing. Outside shooting. Everybody has mentioned that as a strength of Phoenix, and we've seen it on film, and it was really on display in that first Las Vegas weekend. They departed that weekend undefeated.
Apologies. You see, as a soccer fan, you see a shot like that coming from that far out, and you might use the word ambitious to think about that. With Phoenix, it's not ambitious. It absolutely has a chance to go in, just not enough movement on that one to get Mercado off of her spot. They try to get that little bit of either spin or knuckle on it on those deep shots from Phoenix. That really makes the goalkeeper think and have to react maybe a half second late, and they get that opportunity to score. So it's not ambitious if you're Phoenix, and they might want to keep that going because they always get a rebound if Mercado is going to spill it in front of her.
Agreed. And it's a balanced attack for Phoenix. They had 3 double-digit scores on the season. Justice Smith led this club with 14. That was 4th in WMLIS. Jess Solanik tied for 5th with her 13. She's already added 1 to that total. And then Cassie Hale. I think Hale is just impossible to miss because of the blondness of her hair. And frankly, that's a broadcaster's dream when you can pick out somebody like that in the tiniest little split second.
Yes, it absolutely is, like defining characteristics and all those types of things. Now, you go to the blonde hair. Some people use that in a negative light. No, like this is a good thing. A very talented player, but again, when you've seen uniforms before. We've all been in this business, Tanner. We've seen it before. Uniforms. I love these uniforms right now. It's easy to see the numbers, easy to pick it out. But if you need to find those characteristics, always good to do that.
Absolutely it is. Stephanie Freund. How about ponytail for Freund? You know what I mean? That's one that works perfectly well for me. And Horneuer, you always have the headband. That's been a couple of different colors. Kelly Collins has the pink / kind of purple headband during this match. So just a little bit of everything for player identification. We're giving a little bit of the broadcasting 101 here. Whether they ask for it or not, Kevin.
Hey, we might train the next person. They take our spot next time.
We might. Good problem to have sometimes when we really get into the very late nights and we're thinking, I could be home about now. Kelly Collins turned from forever. Bang! She did what? Kevin, your jaw is dropped. Mine too.
My jaw is on the floor. What did we just see? The quickness in this turn. The power. Just a little kiss off of the post and to the back of the net. My goodness, take a bow.
Oh, and take a breath. Kelly Collins with an all-time banger. That's 18 goals overall on the season for Collins. And that's the all-time best. Come on. Come on. For the career, forget about that. Collins scored the game winner last year in the final, and that still tops anything we've ever seen. That's absurd.
My reaction was as genuine as it comes. I've seen a lot in this game, and it takes a lot for the jaw to go to the floor nowadays. When it does, it is something special, something. Sometimes I'll give that Sports Center just to try to get ESPN to catch on to some of these highlights. That is a top play nominee if I ever saw one.
Maybe that's the next step with this league, is just bombarding ESPN, tagging them under every single post on every single social. Hear me out. I probably have the authority to do this. I'm telling you, they give me far too much power. Mercado, the keeper, bowls it away for distribution.
Better you than me.
Yes, probably. Ideally. This is up and out of play. And we all take a breath after that strike from Kelly Collins put the Chicago Mustangs up. And you looked up and you said, okay, so this was 2-0 at one point to Phoenix, and it was 3-1 at one point to Phoenix, and now Chicago just flipped all that, and they're back to those Chicago Mustangs that we've seen and we expect to see.
If you look at it like a basketball run, every team goes on runs. After that 2-goal deficit, they've gone on a 4-1 run here against Phoenix, and they just continue to find ways to get opportunities in front of net, and they're already on the attack again.
Yeah, they are with Yayas Macias. Collins will get it back. I mean, at some point, you probably want to feed a hot foot with Collins. Her foot's probably still scorching from that last shot, one would speculate. Long range, glancing off a defender. In no danger yet is Phoenix. I say that. It's tough to say considering the last strike we just saw. But you know what we mean. Simply a figure of speech. Joanna Mercado sending it way long, all the way for the keeper. And once more, what do we get, Kevin? Take it away.
Wedgie.
That was better than I could have expected. Yes, yes, indeed. The wedgie. Look, it's the month of March, and they're playing basketball. Everybody's playing basketball, and so you know that this is available and this is a possibility. But we got that ball up and cleared rather quickly. I think it was more funny in the semifinal that we just had with Salt Lake City and Toronto when that ball was up there for quite a while.
And they were playing the play continue with another ball.
Yeah.
It's just sitting up there. But set piece opportunity here. Let's see what they have off the training grounds for Chicago.
Trying to feed it into the box. Soto is not going to get in a good attacking touch. Joanna Mercado gives up the interception. Watch out. Great challenge. And that's clean, too. She got all ball on it.
Good job by Mercado. Subtle mistake there, but coaches will always tell you, you make a mistake, make up for it as soon as possible, and Mercado does there, just getting enough of the ball to get it cleared.
Phoenix is back down to the attacking end, and they will possess here with Emma Eddy.
That's one thing we haven't seen a lot of from Phoenix in terms of the possession. Like, they want to play in transition. They want to play with the speed. They want this to go up and down. And I think wisely, Chicago saw that, and they have taken a little out of the game, taken a little bit out of that pace. They're stopping Phoenix from having those opportunities, forcing them to play basically half-field offense, trying to move the ball, and they're just not able to do so.
No, not yet. But you always feel, with both of these sides and the film that they've put up this season, that they're going to be able to break out of it eventually. We're under that 8-minute mark, folks. That magical 8 minutes means that we should, upon our next stoppage, have a media timeout. Kelly Flores wraps a wall ball. And it's still there. Not maybe the plan that they had to clear for Phoenix.
It's very interesting to me watching Chicago and kind of their approach, especially when a ball kind of, they're trying to attack and it comes back out to midfield. There's plenty of space for that defender, that player, to go right back on the attack, but they are very adamant to recycle it, reset it, go back to Mercado and start from the back. Like, that is where they feel the most success. Pull Phoenix out, try to get them on their heels, and then find that one ball up the middle that'll allow them to put an opportunity in front of net.
Battle near the midfield. Nunez is in the 3-car pileup, and you just have to have a whistle for that. Your guess is as good as mine on the foul between Solanic and Samantha Lopez there.
It'll go to one of them, but I mean, that's, like you said, those car crash kind of hospital plays there where a lot of people kind of converge on the ball. That's where communication comes in.
It is. Shot saved. Avendano keeping it where it is. It's a 4-3 match. Still Chicago leads. You mentioned that they did make the little 4-1 run, and they feel a little more calm, cool, and collected. They feel a little bit more Chicago Mustangs-like here in this second quarter.
They do. They look confident. They look comfortable. They've gotten back to their identity, and now again.
Nunez got poked from behind. It's loose. Nunez, Collins, Freund, decorated players, all of them. Freund with the pressure. Mia Rose Daly dumping it back. The keeper Avendano taking a little swing. It's beyond the half, but not by much. Macias. Cassie Hale went with the little back heel try and direct it in the area of 11, Justice Smith. Haven't seen a lot of Justice Smith yet. That's your leading scorer for Phoenix.
It is, and Chicago doing a good job of keeping her quiet for right now, but I know Phoenix is going to continue to try to find ways to get her the ball. And if you're taking one option away and you're forcing her away from goal where she has so much success, you got to find another way to impact the game to get Chicago off of that defensive plan.
Smith scored some bangers in that first Las Vegas weekend, too. Again, in that February 7th and 8th weekend. And you felt at the time, man, we think Phoenix is kind of going to be the class of WMLIS this season. And then we started to see Salt Lake City later on. Avendano, the first stuff, ball's loose. Macias is decked. Oh, my.
Avendano down on the pitch as well. Last-ditch defending from Phoenix right on the doorstep. Avendano try to get out and clear it. Macias gets banged into the boards, and the push will be called, but the concern right now is for Avendano, the goalkeeper for Phoenix.
Yes, it is. While we've got you here, we do have a moment, to find the silver linings here. We do have a moment to take you through the numbers on Avendano throughout the whole season. And they go like this, as we highlighted her as our player to watch pregame. 4th in saves in WMLIS this season with 88 of them. Also 4th in save percentage at 733, and those 4 wins out of the 6 for the club. But the goals allowed average, that's probably the number one thing that I would zoom in on besides her one shutout that she pitched, 413. Remember, that's an average per 60 minutes. That's second in the league, only to Jasmine Espinosa of course, Salt Lake City. Batista's shot is blocked by the aforementioned Cassie Hale. Joanna Mercado, comfortable handling, but you don't see her drift out that high often. And if she gives it away, if she gives a big old run to Phoenix, you might see Hale shoot from range. Save Mercado.
And she just got inside of that box to be able to use her mitts to push that one away.
Yeah, the goalkeepers serve their own time penalties, and there's that handling outside of the penalty area blue card that we've seen bite too many great goalkeepers. Oh no, Batisti's down. Smith staring down the keeper. She's rejected. And now we got to get that play stopped. Oh no, Val Batisti.
Oh my goodness. That was a non-contact situation. Just goes down and holding that knee. Seen situations like that before. Again, not in the business of speculating any sort of injuries, but I can tell you non-contact type injuries are always the scariest when you see a player go down in that nature.
Kelly Collins is over there. Trainers are out on that Las Vegas side, and our on-field referee, Oscar Wante, going to be looking over the situation. Injury stoppage. While we've got a moment, we will tell you a little bit more about WMLIS. We will tell you to not miss a moment of the action because tons of action to be had throughout this weekend. Follow the Women's Major League Indoor Soccer on your favorite social media platform at WMLIS Pro. Stay updated with game highlights, player spotlights, live updates, and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Be part of the excitement and support Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. We'll step out, take a little break as they attend to Valerie Battisti of Chicago. We'll be back with you in a few here on the National Soccer Network. And we will make our return back inside Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Chicago maybe dealt a little blow there. Valerie Battisti was down on the turf for a couple of minutes, and you've always got to restart the game after that. That's the worst part about an injury like that is, well, I kind of don't feel like it. My stomach's kind of dropped, and everybody wants to just you're hyper-focused on your teammate there, and you want to be able to help somehow, but you got to play the game.
I think part of the at least decent news is her being able to, while it was still assisted, able to kind of get off the pitch. But again, yeah, you have this feeling in the pit of your stomach if you're a teammate in that situation, and now you have to defend a set piece opportunity as Phoenix is going to elect to take it instead of sharing possession.
Solanic blasted this too high and just up into that third row after it hit that red plastic barrier on the very top of the wall. They're unable to maintain the attacking chance, and Chicago will look to clear with Stephanie Freund. Once more, that is your defending Defensive Player of the Year. So many awards were, nearly swept by that Chicago Mustangs side last year, and, maybe one that they were a little bit upset about that we kind of haven't got to mention so much was Coach of the Year. Armando Gamboa, their head man from last year, we understand he's also made this trip and is on the bench with the team, but their head coach now by Shannon Walter. Collins! Flying and soaring in the air. And it's one of those where did she come from, where did she go situations.
And that's where you don't want to put the ball back towards the middle of the field, as this one is, kind of comes in and deflected. That one, just no one communicating between the goalkeeper, the defender. Avendano tried to get her mitt down to it. That's one where you may have to get a little bit lower going down to the turf. Collins saw it, pounced on the chance, and puts home another one for Chicago. Now they get the ever-crucial 2-goal lead.
And so Stephanie Nunez, without a lot of the fantastic strikes that we've seen, is being felt in so many ways in this contest. Nunez really forced the biggest mistake for Avendano, the keeper. That turned into kind of the own goal situation, as Nunez was credited for that just before the end of the first quarter. And now she gets that assist. just kind of casually wrapping a wall ball around. And then Collins says, I'll take that. Thank you very much. I know what to do with that.
Those are the players that I really love to highlight, are the players that, yes, she got the assist there, so that goes down the stat book, but players that impact a game without having their name show up on the stat sheet all over the place. You know, you hear about athletes filling up the stat sheet. You know what else I want? I want filling up the energy, filling up the passion, filling up the heart that drives a team. Those are winning type plays and winning type players that lead you to championship games and ultimately to championship opportunities.
Hilarious you say that, as this turn from Larson goes just a little wide. Oh, her hat trick is just sitting there on the doorstep. Larson will now finally be whistled for the foul against Cassie Hale. But it's funny you should say that, mentioning Stephanie Nunez, because she just happens to be the all-time leading scorer, the defending Golden Boot, the all-time leader in points, but can affect, when she needs to, can adapt her game to what the situation requires of her. You're seeing it in this one.
And I think that's so big, is if you are a stat sheet filler, if you can be, in addition to that, find a way to be the passion filler as well, that's where you lead by example. That's where, if that's the standard that our best player is living up to, I better be trying to do even more, because they've carried us, and I need to help in whatever way I can.
Yeah, as if the Chicago club needed more help. 5-3. Again, quietly a fantastic second quarter for them. You can't erase the Valerie Battisti injury from anyone's minds, but they have kind of gotten past it and put up a great sequence so far. Whistle, little push, foul on Ana Vasquez. Vasquez has seen her minutes diminished from last year, was primarily a starting defender with the club, is always rostered, but just there's so many others to crack this lineup with Chicago. It's really impressive in the first place. Selanik waiting. Set piece from deep. Minute and 44 to play. Selanik off for her right. Shot. Booyah! From deep. And Mercado can only watch it fly.
That was beautifully set up. That was, as they would say in golf, that's on a tee to fire that one. And tee off, she did. Puts it through, and it found its way all the way through so powerful it went through the net and out to the concourse behind the goal. So Phoenix just sticking with it here in the second quarter with the run Chicago has been on, and I think that's what can help build. Now, it's going to be crucial in this last minute plus of this second quarter, I think, for Phoenix to try to keep it at this scoreline if they can't at least get it tied.
Hold serve, I hear you, and that probably means you gotta mark Kelly Collins tight. Soto, little push off maybe with one arm. It's not whistled, and so now they continue to let him play. 1 minute and 15 seconds until the halftime break. The Chicago Mustangs and Phoenix Pulse. It's been difficult to figure out whether to use that as like a count noun. You know what I mean? Do you put the in there? We've struggled juggling that. And other commentators who have actually, in fact, they had a partnership this season with Blaze Radio at Arizona State. And Mr. Alan Judson, the sports director there, we can't thank him enough. Nunez, top post, not quite. She'll come up empty. Under a minute until the half. Just wanted to drop that in there. You see, I'm a Syracuse guy. Right? I think some may be aware of that I had recently completed my master's at Syracuse. And so I have to have rivalry with the Arizona State guys until I see how good their production was this season. And I really had to thank them a lot. I was able to help owner Allie Moon do that. That was one of the more fun negotiations that I had this season was, hey, I got a contact over at Arizona State, and I'll see if I can't get you a broadcast team from there. And they were able to take a student broadcast and put it over to our YouTube channel, MLIS Pro TV, and I was really impressed by that whole student group.
Always good to get those students, the young broadcasters, more and more experience. The best thing in any industry is reps. It is practice, and so good to hear that kind of story as we get ready to close out the first half.
Everybody hitting those whistles, and we should be seeing, now we do, quadruple zeros. The first half fireworks from the defending champion Chicago Mustangs and the upstart Phoenix Pulse. Jess Raby, Jess Salonik, all the Jesses on the board all the time. The second goal, by the way, assisted by Jessica Hale for Phoenix. I didn't even say it at the time, but just like, come on. Hannah Larson with 2 bangers in that first quarter. Stephanie Nunez, Kelly Collins a couple of times, and Emma Eddy. That final score at 1:39 of the second quarter from Jess Salonik again. You're watching Women's Major League Indoor Soccer on the National Soccer Network. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold. Ryan Glinsky over in the studio. Get you over to Ryan soon for halftime. We will step out in a few. You see just under 15 minutes on the clock for that halftime. And when we're back with you, these Chicago Mustangs will be leading 5-4, third quarter.
Back in live on the NSN studios. It's halftime here in semifinal number 2 in the Women's Major League Indoor Soccer semifinals. Chicago Mustangs, Phoenix Pulse. We got ourselves a competitive one. Let's take a look at those first half highlights. The reigning champs, the Chicago Mustangs, they got punched in the mouth early, giving up 2 goals in the opening 2 minutes, both from 2 different Jesses, Jess Raby and Jess Salonik, to go down 2-0 early. And this is what Chicago Mustangs mentioned, is that we're going to have to figure things out on the fly against a team that we have not played yet this season. And then eventually Chicago would get back into the game thanks to a pair of Hannah Larson goals. And you see they had to defend early in this first half, in the first quarter, as Phoenix was all over them to begin with. But Hannah Larson, she got herself a pair of goals to tie things up 2-2. But again, this Phoenix team, they've been giving Chicago fits, and this has been a very fun, entertaining, fast-paced game, back and forth type of contest. And then Jess Raby, bit of a mistake there from the keeper, and Jess Raby was the last one to touch it. She'll be credited for the goal to give Phoenix the lead 3-2, and then eventually Chicago, they would start to flex their muscle a little bit as Stephanie Nunez would tie things up here. And when I mean flexing their muscle, they started to, is they would get that 2-goal cushion thanks to a pair of goals from Kelly Collins. She's been all over the place, creating havoc for the Chicago team. And then this one was beautiful off the set piece. Emma Eddy making it 5-4, and that is where we stand here in this first half, heading into the halftime break, as the reigning champs, the Chicago Mustangs, currently lead the newcomers Phoenix Pulse. This is something that we've seen in both semifinals, a team that has been into the finals before last year in Fort Wayne versus Salt Lake City, the newcomer, and then this one, the reigning champs of the Chicago Mustangs against the newcomer in Phoenix Pulse. That's going to do it here for this halftime segment from me, and then we'll toss it back over to Kevin Arnold and Tanner White as you're watching Women's Major League Indoor Soccer on the National Soccer Network.
In Barca camp, I sing my song grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
Authentic Mexican flavor made fresh from scratch. Every ingredient prepared with real Mexican tradition. Your bowl, your rules. Visit us at one of our Cleveland locations.
Built on service, driven by integrity, trusted through compassion. They serve, we honor. They commit, we care. They sacrifice, we heal. At Apex Skin, a veteran-owned practice, we proudly give back to those that gave so much by offering free scar revisions through our Purple Heart Project. Trusted care for every journey. Visit apexskin.com/care to schedule your appointment today.
Freshly chopped. Perfectly topped. Fresh chips. Creamy queso. Feeling thirsty? Try one of our signature drinks. Mexican classics? Always.
Liberty Home Mortgage is kicking off a new sponsorship with Cleveland Crunch.
We're revolutionizing the way mortgage lending is done today.
Looking to purchase or refinance a home? We'll find the best solution for you.
Come see how Liberty Home Mortgage is changing the game.
In Barca camp, I sing my song Grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca Camp.
And we make our triumphant return for half number 2 of semifinal number 2 here for Women's Major League Indoor Soccer for 2026. You follow all of that? Maybe, maybe not. Are your brains cooked at this point? I'm Tanner White. He's Kevin Arnold. And we're in for a weekend.
We are in for a weekend. We are in for a second half. We got a 5-4 match right now. Both teams have kind of had some control. Chicago really dominating that second quarter. I think it was vital for Phoenix to at least cut that 2-goal deficit down by 1 and then hold firm in the last minute 25 of that second quarter. Because, yes, you might be trailing, and unfortunately we do see the injury there that we had in the first half. Non-contact injury as you're watching some of the highlights from the first half. But I think that gave some confidence to Phoenix to go into the locker room as they're kind of on their heels, got a little momentum, got themselves a goal. They see that they can still, now that the adjustments were made by Chicago, they see that they're still in it, and I think that's going to play dividends coming in here into the third quarter.
Yeah, look, Phoenix knows they can stand toe-to-toe and trade blows with the champs. And with these Chicago Mustangs who have this incredibly lofty expectation of themselves and all these records and all these all-time scores, and Phoenix is kind of saying, Well, shove all of that. We've got really good players too. Yes, they do.
Yes, absolutely they do. And that's what they're trying to show. Teams from both divisions, you know, you go east-west in the women's, you go north-south in the men's. Yeah, there is no cross-divisional play. So what do you go on? You go on film. And now you have a half worth of play that you have to go on. And now, really, this is where the chess match gets going. What adjustments can you make after having a chance to see it as Collins continues to try to keep that hot foot on the forefoot against Phoenix?
Yeah, she let loose for 2 all-time hot sauce scores in that second quarter. Did Kelly Collins, 38 years of age. She gets a chip in here, and we get a chance to look at the reserve keeper, Angelina Valdez, checking in for Melissa Avendano. Maybe not necessarily what we expected to see, but when we talked to Allie Moon about it earlier this week in our pre-production meetings, she said, well, we believe a ton, and we don't think we're losing anything when we take Avendano out and we go Valdez in. We think that we are just as good, save for Mercado, the first one here for quarter number 3. So again, in that yellow kit, that is Joanna Mercado, the starting goalkeeper for the Chicago Mustangs. Caught on in the second half of the year. They rotated through other keepers very successfully throughout the season, or in the early part, but then Mercado really caught on and cemented her spot and knew she was going to be making the trip. The reserve keeper, I just wanted to get to this because I think it is a nomination that I want to make for the WMLIS all-name team. It's Honey Days Cruz, the reserve keeper. I wanted to hit on it at some point.
Honey Days Cruz in net right now, and you know, or excuse me, not net, but that backup keeper for Chicago. I saw that name and I was like, man, if we get a chance to work this in, this would be fantastic.
Kevin, do you think I was going to miss it? From what you've seen from this weekend, man.
Hey, we also have not worked together. We only had to go on film of each other and
That's
how
true.
we operate. So,
That's true.
you know, we've made adjustments as we go along. So, yes, as the day has gone, I assumed that would be something that you would do. But coming into today, I can't say I felt that way. But
all right,
we all learn each in our own way.
Oh, we do. And don't you worry about me, Mr. Kevin Arnold. Oh, after the foul, it's a little hip check. Ana Vasquez ready to restart it here for the Chicago side in their defending half. 5-4 their lead coming out of the break. Mercado sending it way down long. Hannah Larson scored 2 for Chicago, their first 2 goals. And I want to talk about unsung. I think a few players on that Chicago side, they had identified when I asked all these players, hey, you know, who do you think is going to really surprise somebody in the postseason? Who's going to, you know, really make their statement, maybe make some history? And many of them said Hannah Larson. They said it's her experience plus her field IQ and the way that she sees it. And then those first 2 goals, you know, you saw it, brought them back to even. Collins, as this got a piece of Emma Eddy. Eddy has the last goal in this match, taking it to 5-4 as she trimmed it just before the halftime break. Again, that's a great look at the mostly orange kit from Phoenix of the reserve keeper, Angelina Valdez.
Now Phoenix trying to find some of that speed. Can they get Chicago out in open space? I think that's what they were probably talking about at halftime.
Shot, stuff, Solanic, center mass of Mercado.
Phoenix does not want a lot of buildup in their attack. They wanna hit when you are, you know, almost like you've fallen asleep. It's not even that they're lulling you to sleep. They just feel like they have an advantage with their speed and they can see that open turf in front of them. That's when they want to score. If they have to hold on to the ball a long time, we're not seeing many good opportunities generated from that type of offense.
And you know what other lurking variable that Phoenix may have an advantage in? We've kind of sprinkled this in throughout the weekend already. It's the travel. It's about a 4.5-hour drive for them. And that's one of only a couple clubs that was able to drive here at all. Most of the flights, of course, the flights from the Midwest could have been a nightmare. Here Rose Daly with the peppering pressure. If she's able to control, this is danger. This has got to go back for the keeper. Indeed, it does for Mercado. And then she rolls it back and trying to sort of juke Daly and just hold on, survive. Collins maybe will eventually have a chance to clear. But you see, this is a Chicago team on its heels again. After an interception, Adriana Orozco for Daly, saved.
Just getting her foot down to that near post was Mercado to get that one away, and now we're starting to see this play open up just a little bit more.
Creates the counter pressure. Flores stuffed from Valdez. That was a great two-player run, too. Carol Fernandez Soto creating a bunch of attacking tries. Has not been on the board scoring in this one yet. Daly on the deck, popping back up. Chicago will control here with 18. Kaylee Kowal. I asked a number of these clubs, too, if they were even forced to play with a sixth attacker, what would they do? We got to see it for the first time ever last weekend in Fort Wayne. Chicago trailing 8-5, and they had to go to Kaylee Kowal as their sixth attacker. Valerie Battisti had done a little bit of it in the previous match on March the 15th. That was also Fort Wayne, because those two clubs had finished a 3-game stretch out all against each other to end off the regular season, and that got Fort Wayne, of course, into playoffs by taking down Chicago for their first ever loss. Right? That was just a huge stretch of 2 matches for Fort Wayne, way beyond moral victories. It brought them all the way to Vegas, but it was just unbelievable to see how well they could operate with that sixth attacker and how efficient they were with it, having not shown it before. You got to think they practice it.
You have to think that something like that would have to be worked on, because you have to know who you're going to bring in. Now, you do have to identify that person. I think some teams probably hold off on that as long as they possibly can, or are they reporting that as much as they should? Those are, of course, conversations that have to happen with the assistant officials over there on the sideline that are keeping score, writing down cards and all those types of things. But you have to at least have a plan for that and how you're going to attack, because while it's still that man or woman advantage in those types of situations, it's 6v5 instead of 5v4. It still changes it a little bit, so you have to have a bit of a plan there on how you're going to attack with those 6 players.
Cassie Hale just came in on this rotation. This is threaded up. Raby in the area of Hale. Let's see if she can chase this down. Look at her winning. That was physical. It was fast. That was Phoenix. That's what they want to play, right? They want to be more in possession, and they want to be more physical. And Nunez is just hog-tying Hale there and hit with the foul.
And we started to see, again, for just a couple moments there, we saw glimpses of the game opening up. And when we say that, that means, like, get into a track meet. You're just going end to end in the action. There's just all of this green turf in front of you. We started to see that open up, and if that had continued, you would have said, okay, advantage is starting to shift towards Phoenix. I think Chicago did a very good job just a few minutes ago of slowing things down yet again, getting back into that possession style. Chicago can play in transition. They can play at that fast pace, but you don't want to be stuck at that fast pace. You want to control it if you're Chicago and keep this lead and maybe try to add to it as we go deeper into the third quarter.
Control, I think that's the word that I'm going to linger on there. Chicago expects at this time in the match to be in control. This is 2 things. Well, it's at least one thing. We know it's a defensive clearance call. When you see this little sort of false start type signal, the referees are saying, hey, that defensive team cleared it within their own end, and you're going to give up the attacking free kick. It should have also taken us to the media timeout, but it will not quite yet. Orozco put it just high off her left. Good looking turn.
Good job just getting that one deflected. So I think they might be signaling for that very same timeout, but Phoenix will have another opportunity coming out.
And we are live here out of the media timeout. Here is Allie Moon, Phoenix owner. Allie's going to take a stab, shot, and score! She's creating core memories in Las Vegas, and this one's an equalizer.
It looked like she almost drew that up like, can I get this to bounce off a player and set it up for a more spectacular volley, half volley off the turf, just stuck her toe down towards the ground, right off the laces. Nothing Mercado could do. Tried to get to it, did her best, but that is just too much sauce on that one. And now we are tied. We got a good one brewing in Vegas.
The 30-year-old Brea, California native nets that equalizer in just a few moments after that set piece. Her own sort of rebound works for us, folks. We've still got nearly a full quarter and a half to play in this one, plus a full another match coming. And don't glance at your clocks, folks, because you've got to stick right here with us. And so don't allow that number to creep into the back of your mind. Don't allow your Aura ring to tell you, hey, it's time to go to bed, as mine may have just done recently. Valdez collects, and now we're winding towards 6.5.
Good trap down to her feet. That's some good skill there. She noticed at the last second she was out of play, and now advantage will be played.
And Soto drops a bomb, too. The Chicago Mustangs are right back in the lead.
That looked like it was going to be called back for a foul. The referees made the right decision. This one cleared out, taken out on the sideline, but Soto, so good, putting that to the back of the net. You want to, whatever you can do, I can do better. And now we go back and forth.
And forth and back we go. I'm going to allow that last one, Kevin, with Soto. but let me tell you, that's on thin ice. Rewind towards nearly 6 minutes to play here. Third quarter, 6-5. You just had the tie to the lead change in mere moments. Allie Moon, then Fernanda Soto. Stephanie Freund and Moon battle there. Mercado, the keeper, watching on as this ball bounds toward the midfield. Jessica Hale, a touch.
That's so subtle there along those near boards. Just, just that touch, just rolling it over top of your foot, making the defender think, just giving them a half a second, give you a little bit of that space, see if they're going to react. If not, you have your keeper always there as an option.
I got to tell the story a little bit of this Phoenix club's kind of genesis while we were in the car on the way over here, right? And it was fantastic the way that women supporting women in sports brought us here. Jessica Kennedy, the owner of Kalamazoo on the east side, as this turn from Cassie Hale goes a little bit wide, she basically was just Allie Moon's first contact into the league. And Allie said, hey, I kind of want to get involved in this. I kind of like what people are doing. Shot a little bit wide of the keeper Mercado there. And so Jessica Kennedy sort of, gave her first couple of contacts and was very candid in answering questions about the league and the process of joining and, what's it cost to field a team and what kind of facilities and what's the regular season going to look like and for next year. And there was plenty of question marks still to be had. And the expansion happened rapidly, and you went again from 4 teams to 8. There's a lot to think about. But that leap of faith was all stirred on by Kalamazoo's Jessica Kennedy. And it's huge for the whole league.
It is. The best way to get word out to everybody is just use your words. Like, you talk to people, and you never know who is interested in something or anything. And I tell people all the time, be open to an opportunity. People try to tell you you have to say yes to everything every single time to get ahead in the world. To me, it's really about being open to opportunities. And when you're open to opportunities, things can present themselves, and then you have situations like this where Allie Moon jumps in the lead because she's hearing about the greatness of it and how it's looking to expand even more. You want to jump in on it early, and now you get a great match between Chicago, the defending champions, and newcomers Phoenix. You wouldn't have had this unless you were open to that opportunity, open to those conversations.
Yeah, it's tough to, and especially Phoenix being in their first season, say that they could have asked for a whole lot more. They got to play against the absolute best, and we know right now that is Salt Lake City. That's not in question with a 19-1 win earlier today. They got to see so much of everybody. They got to get everybody's best in that Las Vegas weekend. They got to pitch a shutout on that Vegas weekend. They saw New Jersey even on the East. That was the one team that, again, it was a travel club, and they knew that they were going to be traveling a whole bunch. And they just got this feel for, hey, what is this indoor soccer thing? And I think Ryan, you want to talk a little bit more about those styles of play across each conference?
Yeah, I would love to. You think of the newcomers on the west side with Phoenix and Salt Lake. They play that outdoor game, that possession base, trying to create with possession. And you look on the east side with the Chicago Mustangs and Fort Wayne, that they like to play the indoor soccer game, boot it up, run and gun, all that fun stuff. And we're seeing both of those different styles of play unfold right in front of our eyes. And so far, the newcomers are winning that battle right here today.
Speaking of battles, that keeper Angelina Valdez battling in there on in relief of Avendaño, made a nice save on Fernanda Soto. Now gives it up, and this might be trouble. Hannah Larson. Larson, good handles, now rejected. She's closed down on quick.
Try to make that one extra move. Had her defender kind of backpedaling a little bit. You make that move, you start to get your defender teetering, you just got to go. Sometimes we try to do a little too much, and I can speak from experience. When you feel like you got your defender, sometimes you want to just do a little bit more. And really, all you really need to do is just keep it simple. You get one move, you get your defender on their heels, take it and get yourself a better shooting opportunity instead of allowing the defense to come back and seeing a double team in a block.
Shot from long range, not quite on target. A header to put it in the right direction for Chicago from Kelly Flores. Flores, Collins, Nunez, bunch of dangerous attackers on this line. Kaylee Kowal, great in possession too. Then you see Stephanie Freund lurking by those logos near midfield. Freund will collect it here, right on that Las Vegas Turf Monsters logo. There you go. That was almost like product placement for Las Vegas. Once more, we thank our commissioner and fearless leader of these Las Vegas clubs, the Turf Monsters. Shot just high for Kowal. Oh, Santa Maria. She's going to be seeing that in, you want to say dreams, but maybe nightmares.
Well, it just depends on how this game finishes.
That's true.
Those are those plays. Those are those moments. You know, games come down, especially close games, come down to one moment here, one moment there. Still got the lead now. Still feeling good, but putting that goal home and extending the lead would make you feel that much more comfortable as we get close to that fourth quarter.
Nunez, always a good choice to do it. She misses this one a little bit high. Collins to follow this shot. Collins, back for her. Hat trick, puts it down.
Just as I said, you want to see if you can double that lead. Make up for, a missed opportunity. Who else but Collins gets a hat trick, has been the one in the attack most of the day for Chicago. Keep beating Collins the rest of the way, and you could see yourself going to a championship match.
Insane what Kelly Collins has done from the moment she took the pitch here, playing against many players younger than herself. Good as any of them. That's 20 scores overall in the season and has scored in every single career match she's played here in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. Oh, that's Kelly Collins for you. It's funny. A veteran, Collins, right? And I want to tell you a little bit more about veterans and ask, hey, veterans, are you looking to purchase a home? Joe Page and Lynn Jabs with the TOP team powered by Liberty Home Mortgage are your local VA loan specialists right here in Las Vegas. They've lived it. They don't just know what VA loans are. Start your journey to home ownership today with the TOP team powered by Liberty Home Mortgage. The keeper, Angelina Valdez, on distribution. She'll get it back and juggle it again. And that's the final touch here for the third quarter. Chicago does what they do, and Kelly Collins has doubled the lead. It's 7-5. Coming out of the break, that one Collins score will give Chicago that lead. I'm Tanner White. He's Kevin Arnold, and we'll be back with you for quarter number 4 here on the National Soccer Network. Don't go anywhere.
In Barca camp, I sing my song "Ground" on and off of the field. don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca Camp.
Just a quick update for our Major League Indoor Soccer fans that the second semifinal between the Cleveland Crunch and Amarillo is set to start at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that is 10:15 Eastern Time. And back to our commentators.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan Glinsky. We return for quarter number 4. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold in the booth here for our third of 4 semifinal matchups for the day here on Saturday, March 28th. The madness, like you might imagine, it's taken over here in the month of March. It's indoor soccer live from Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Jess Raby of Phoenix Pulse battling with 18. Kaylee Kowal of the Chicago Mustangs, the defending champs. They've been pushed this season more than they ever had last year up until that inaugural final. And now Phoenix, one more 15-minute period to either take it all the way down and take down Chicago, or their season's over.
Yeah, and the test that you're talking about this season for Chicago, we'll get back to that point here in a second.
Wait on the loose balls. The anticipation, because you know that Nunez could pull up from there and just nail it.
Yes, and I don't want to deprive the people of a great call from Tanner White, that's for sure.
All right, well, much
I'd be a
appreciated.
poor color analyst if I had stepped on your toes in that regard.
Oh, very much appreciated. I think we've got plenty of time here. Go ahead.
So, speaking of that, again, Chicago getting tested more than they ever expected to. That's good for the league. And I say that because, you know, if you want a team that's going to just dominate every single time, our team's going to want to continue to help in expansion. Have parity. You're building parity. You're building competition. That's only good for the league. And yeah, Chicago, yeah, you want to be the one that's at the top of the mountain all the time. Once you get to the top of the mountain, it's harder to stay there sometimes than it is to get to it.
Yeah, they got to start there really from the moment that they came out of the gate, just whomping on people last year in the early part of the regular season. And then it came all the way down to the championship match before they really had. Now, they had one overtime match mixed in there with Fort Wayne in that inaugural season, but that was in a 4-team league. You expand to 8 for this year, and it feels a lot different. And we know that the expansion is going to come again for next year, and it's going to feel a lot different again. Whether we get into true, tightly regional play, whether you add a whole nother division, that's a talk that's been had, or maybe into multiple conferences, that's another talk that's been had. adding a third conference, if you can have 4 or 3 of 4 or 4 of 4, you never know. We just can't even predict because of the unprecedented speed of the growth here. Whistle, the foul, never mind. The card on Macias. This is huge, Kevin.
Huge opportunity for Phoenix, and I think it's going to the spot as well. The referees were pointing to it, but that one is pushed into the wall, and Macias will see the blue card. Didn't seem like a lot of contact from Macias. They will actually bring it back to where the foul was placed. The officials got together and talked about it. They were pointing like they were going to one of those shootout opportunities. And now a timeout will be called to set up this set piece, start the power play for Phoenix.
Yeah, well, why not? It's as big of a time in the match as any. It's a fourth quarter. You're trailing by 2. It's a really important time to have it, but we will step out for just a moment. It's still 7-5. Chicago Mustangs leading over the Phoenix Pulse. Back in a few. And we return here out of that timeout called at 11:49 of this fourth quarter. The first free kick is blocked there, but ball put back in play in the attacking end for the Phoenix Pulse. Look at Allie Moon, scored herself a banger, didn't she, Kevin, to tie this game back at 5. Feels like it was a long time ago, but not so long ago there in the third quarter. Cassie Hale, a little body check. That's a boarding call on Yeyas Macias on that blue card. It's one of those that really met the definition of it. Whether or not you thought that it was, okay, very severe contact, doesn't matter. You're pushing or in any way making some contact with a player that forces them into those boards, it's automatic.
Yeah, it didn't look like a reckless challenge, but again, you're by those boards. The referees are going to protect the players. That's a safety issue, so it's more of a dangerous situation, blue card, than it is a dangerous play, just or reckless challenge, if you will. I think what's very important is that with that goal that Allie Moon scored when it tied it up, Chicago getting that response right away. I haven't brought this up yet today, but I always think, I don't know how you feel because you've called a lot of these games, Tanner.
Of course.
Those first 2 minutes after a goal is scored, a team feels so good. Like the energy is so high, and then, you might feel down as the opponent, or you might feel motivated to come back. Chicago, they gave up the lead. They wanted it right back. Phoenix was feeling really good. Chicago took advantage of that emotion from Phoenix.
And we expect that the Chicago side will, dot their I's and cross their T's, and they do, and they're so well coordinated. But I think people maybe assume that means you turn them into soccer-playing robots. Absolutely not. Allie Moon on the doorstep is just going to be triple marked. She's unable to put the shot up so far. Cassie Hale, maybe Eddie, see if anybody can retain it besides the keeper. The keeper, Angelina Valdez, once more in at the half for Melissa Avendano from way long range, up and over the head of Joanna Mercado in goal for Chicago. Eddie blocked from long range.
A lot of individual trying to do everything themselves on this power play for Phoenix instead of setting their offense, setting that power play positioning, getting someone at the point, picking out that pass.
And stuffed on the first try. Selanik too high on the second. Raby got a piece that somehow stayed out of the seats. We've seen so many balls because it's very easy to hop this with the low walls, which you mentioned in the very first semifinal of the day between Fort Wayne and Salt Lake City. It is very easy for a ball to just hop up in there, and then we actually haven't seen a whole lot of it in this match for whatever reason. I still want to go to that Turf Monsters logo, and I want to once more credit our commissioner, Bernard Lillevoix, and just the sheer size of the undertaking of an event like this for this whole finals weekend. It's massive. And there's something that a lot of people, or there's many things a lot of people will never see and never hear about that just have to be in place for this to ever happen, for you and I to get here and for these teams to travel from, well, some further than others, but typically very far away. Mercado pulling this off of Ali Moon.
Back to even strength out there, so not able to capitalize on the power play was Phoenix, but they're keeping the pressure on. And we might be, depending on how this goes over the next, I would say, 4 minutes, we could find ourselves in that situation that we haven't had a chance to see, that extra attacker, the designated extra attacker. 2-goal lead, that's not much in the indoor game. It's still crucial in the game of soccer. You always like that 2-goal lead in the game of soccer, but in indoor, it is much harder to hang on to. So we're not there yet. We're not at that point yet, playing even strength. I think Chicago wants to maybe put in a couple more to force the hand of Phoenix maybe a little earlier than they want to.
And remember what Ali Moon told us, too. She said, yeah, I'll talk with Coach. I'll talk with Mike Navarro a little bit, our head man. But we don't necessarily know what we would do if they were in that sixth attacker spot. And I think you're right. It is likely, especially on another Chicago score, that they find out. After Nunez's takeaway, watch her try to go nutmeg at first, and then it probably got a piece of the defender there and didn't end up a particularly good scoring chance. Got a whistle. Stoppage here is away from the ball. Again, this is not defensive clearance. We know that much because it's not put out of play. But is this the true PK? Is that what we're seeing?
Looks like more so just outside the box. It'll be placed just outside the box, but this is...
Yeah, it's off center, so I thought it can't be.
It's a difficult situation, though, because now everybody's crowded in front of that goal. This is where the pinball effect comes in.
Flores just went top cheddar, and honestly, it's controlled quite well by Valdez. They wrap it around, and it's away from Nunez, and I think immediately that means that you can breathe a little sigh of relief, maybe on that Phoenix side. But, oh, never mind, it's out for Kelly Collins. Collins with her hat trick, and you know those have just been bangers, and she's got 20 goals overall in the season.
And really, you need to stick with her a little bit more. If you're going to keep this game in striking distance, 7-5, Chicago leads. But if Phoenix can keep this in striking distance, it's when Kelly Collins, her lull to sleep move, and I've seen it several times tonight, is she has her back to goal as a shot comes in, easily saved, not a lot of power on it. When she has her back to goal, she likes to take maybe a touch further away. Defender leaves, and she takes a quick turn, and she can rip it from deep. So that's where she gets her scoring opportunities, is making sure defenders actually, they stop paying attention to her, thinking that she's just going to bring it back to the keeper or back to midfield.
Yeah, it's been so impressive. I mean, Collins can get you every which way, but I hear you on that. Some players just develop that signature move, and Collins got a couple of nasty ones. 38-year-old Lake Zurich, Illinois native. Been doing this at a high level for a long time. Played in, I mean, you're talking Brazil. Played semi-pro for the UWS Force. She's just been everywhere. She's always been, she has really high expectations of herself. She's a personal trainer, soccer trainer, you name it. And don't they all, right? Once you have a transferable skill, once you have the leadership skills, and you enjoy so much spreading that game, that's really a great way. It can affect people's lives. I think people don't talk about enough. Coaching.
It does. It really does. And the connections that you make with your players are so crucial. And here a lot lately as new coaches have either come in the NFL or the NBA or even MLS. Like a lot of coaches nowadays, in the newer generation of athlete, they talk about how connection means so much more. Can you connect beyond the pitch, beyond the playing surface with your players, because that's when you get more buy-in from them, and that is just kind of the evolution, the ever-evolution of sports and life in general.
You want to talk about buy-in? all of these clubs for this 2026 season with WMLIS had to be so bought in to make this whole thing happen. To see our Albuquerque club unable to finish the season out, to see New Jersey knowing that they'd have to be a travel club, you know, almost exclusively, to see Fort Wayne undergoing the ownership change mid-season. All of these trials, tribulations would have been so easy to say, you know, what are we doing and what's the point? And then no one for a moment had that creep into the back of their minds. As I've been at so many of these matches, that's no secret, and it's been an incredible honor and a pleasure and a privilege to do, right? But I've seen and felt that everyone is bought in, and it takes everyone.
This is the only way that this is going to continue to grow if we want more expansion. If we want to get to the point where it's not just semis, you know, talk about quarterfinals or a little bit more, an expanded playoff. Like, everybody wants to talk expanded playoffs in college athletics. They want to talk about expanded tournaments. They want to, you know, all the professional leagues. There's like, oh, well, it's a debate between like the last team in, and scoring opportunity there for Phoenix goes awry. But it's always those conversations about expansion. Well, want some expanded playoffs, you build the league up the right way. Guess what? To your original point, the only way that happens, everyone bought in and everyone doing their part, and that's exactly what MLIS and now WMLIS have set as the culture for the entire league and organization.
And created smash hit successes. Speaking of smash, Yeyas Macias looks like she'll be whistled here for the foul, the contact against Cassie Hale, sending Hale to the deck. I don't know that we can perhaps repeat what Macias may have then said afterward. That's okay, we can't hear it.
No, we will not safe for those watching.
Unlikely. Cassie Hale, chest touch first, just missed wide on the left of the goal frame.
Starting to feel that sense of urgency now from Phoenix. Keep an eye on that bench. Keep an eye on the backup goalkeeper that came in, Valdez. Is Chicago trying to maybe make it null and void for them to even try to bring on the extra attacker, but keep an eye now. This is where we're starting to get into that zone. It's a 2-goal deficit, so you can't wait until the 2-minute mark. See what Phoenix wants to do.
So that original timeout that was at 11:49, that one was called, and this is the meeting. And we come back in out of the break. Final media timeout, we speculate, here for this semifinal. It's the second of 2 semifinals here for 2026 in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. It's the Chicago Mustangs. It's the Phoenix Pulse. Here it's Cassie Hale wrapping this around the boards once more as Joanna Mercado, the Chicago keeper, been about as good as advertised, especially after a rocky couple of minutes of start. Has practically settled in ever since.
You know, Tanner, I always try to honor the greats of this industry, the broadcasting industry, and even the late greats. And someone from the Cleveland area, late great Fred McLeod, who called the 2016 NBA championship for the Cavs and was a Cavs play-by-play announcer for a long time. He would call this time sweaty palms time, when you feel that that nervy little energy. Chicago's trying to hang on. Phoenix is trying to push everything, all the chips to the middle of the table, if you will, to try to come back in this one, because both of them want a chance of playing tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific time out there in Vegas.
That was very well said with the Vegas, with the chips. I like it. Mr. Ryan Glinsky, you got one more little detail for us you want to drop in?
Yeah, 100%. Phoenix Pulse this year 0-4 against playoff teams. Granted, all 4 of those games and all 4 of those losses were against Salt Lake City. But the difference and why I bring this up is they've been in close contests just about every single time. And in their last meeting, they were actually beating Salt Lake City with under 4 minutes to go. Gave up 2 goals in regulation and lost the game. But they've been knocking on the door and beating some really good sides. Can they find something here in the final 3 minutes to beat the Chicago team?
Yeah, Salt Lake City will do that to you. That's not really a knock on them by any means. And they did keep that season series to just a plus 11, did Salt Lake City. And so they weren't running away with any of those. We got the card down. Raby was down. Hale is down. Nunez is coming out of the pack with it. Blue card. Let's take a moment, sort it all out, because this is crucial no matter which way it goes. The first card that we had was Macias at 12:28 of this quarter for the boarding. That penalty would then be all killed off. Got 2 minutes and 40 seconds still to play, so this power play time will not run all the way through the end of regulation, no matter how we slice it.
Going to want to see some better organization on the power play offense for Phoenix. Last time, just a lot of just shoot. Now, you are going to have to get some quicker shots here, but you need to at least get one. There's got to be some better organization.
Moon just threw it in the right direction, and I'm not convinced that ball didn't come off of her hand first to get that chance in, but it was sandwiched between her and Cassie Hale so awkwardly. It was kind of just the whole mass of bodies melded together. Hale still lurks on that left block. She's unable to turn it just yet. Raby nearly top cheddar. And now it's just, this is a shooting gallery.
Like I said, you got to take the chances when they're there. If Chicago wants to bring everybody back in the box, then yes, you're going to have to take some deep shots. And again, maybe get one of those deflected balls to sit on the line that someone can poke home. But now that's better right there. That's, even though it goes top shelf right there, that's better. That goes from one side to the other to the corner, cross it through that box, through that open space, and someone is there on the back post, just not able to get over top of it.
And it ended up being a service to everyone because it knocked another soccer ball loose. And now you have one too many, a surplus to requirements of soccer balls. But nonetheless, Phoenix is probably thinking, well, yeah, can we play with 2 balls right now? We think that would give us a great chance. Raby just trying to slice it in there. There's nobody home to her attacking left side of the pitch. Valdez coming out a little bit higher. That's all well and good, but still a 2-goal game, Kevin.
Still a 2-goal game. No
Not
run!
anymore! Cassie Hale from way outside. Much more interesting now, isn't it? And they're going to call the timeout, too.
Man, oh man, just as we're telling them you got to have more organization, Hale says, I got this, and it will be a 1-goal deficit for Phoenix. 7-6. We have got a match on our hands. Chicago hanging on by everything that they got.
And we have got to say right here with you, and we will get it. It's coming down to the wire, but we will get it in. We promise to tell you that tonight's event is proudly supported by Roper & Roper, attorney at law. Trusted for over 30 years, they provide expert legal services to help you protect what matters most. Mr. Don Roper, owner of the Orlando club, Atletico Pro, saw his club miss out, not by much, but with just the last couple of matches of the regular season, the results not falling to them. Dropping that one to Dallas was really costly. That got them out, and it got Salt Lake City in. It's nearly a minute to play. Phoenix should have just called that last timeout. It's now 50 seconds, standing between the Chicago Mustangs and another championship berth.
Very smart here from Chicago, doing everything they can. Phoenix took a little too long to realize Chicago just wants to pull it out. They just want to keep it at their feet. You gotta give everything you got. Our foul's gonna be called, maybe. But you gotta take that chance to win back possession.
Yeah, it's all about taking chances at this point. And you don't want to say gambles, but if it seemed accurate, if it seemed worthwhile, this is probably the time to go gambling. They do not pull the goalkeeper. Angelina Valdez will send it long. It's all well and good, but what about Kelly Collins coming back the other way? Collins, righty saved.
Got a chance, but you got to get the ball up the pitch in a hurry. 10 seconds.
Yeah, and is that enough time to make this one final run? Because that might be all that stands between the Chicago Mustangs and another trip to the championship. That does it. A 7-6 final, and it's another banger of a match. We are just treated this entire weekend, Kevin, and it's not done yet, but this as good as any.
As good as any. Man, oh man, you could feel it. Like that competitor that you used to be comes out a little bit in these types of moments. Like you want to see, can we get a tie? Can we get an overtime? I know, the last two teams that get to play tonight, they're already backed up just a little bit from their start time.
There they are. We just saw them on the pitch already.
They're getting out there as fast as they can, but man, oh man, I would have taken even more of that if we could with Chicago and Phoenix tonight.
Yeah, it should only be right, though, that these Chicago Mustangs are going to get another chance. They dropped their first game all time just a week ago, and they get pressed all the way down to the wire here by Phoenix. This upstart, this young gun club pushes them. Cassie Hale, that final score to trim it to 7-6. Just nuking that one from way outside. Let's go to Mr. Ryan Galinsky from the studio.
Fellas, that was an unbelievable game. The reigning champs survived. That's all that matters here in the month of March. Survive in advance, and the reigning champs have an opportunity to defend their crown tomorrow night against a new team as well in Salt Lake City. Fellas, for you guys who have seen both of these games up close and personal, what are some key factors and some X factors that you're looking for each team tomorrow?
Well, I'll start, Tanner, and I think that it's the speed. Phoenix showed a little bit of that speed, so now Chicago gets a look at it. It's a different animal when you go up against this Salt Lake City team. Can Chicago weather that initial onslaught from Salt Lake City tomorrow? Can they find a way to adjust on the fly like they like to talk about? Can they do the same thing that they did tonight? I know that they're going to rest. They're going to take their time. They'll get back out there and they'll figure all that out. But for right now, enjoy it and see if you can go get yourself a second crown.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick turnaround no matter how you slice it for every club that's playing tomorrow, and it's unenviable. It's tough to say that anything but team speed is going to be the final deciding factor, and from what we've seen, Salt Lake City, that's edge to them. Maybe the goalkeepers still factor in. Maybe Mercado, has the game of her life. Maybe it's Jasmine Espinosa. We know what she's been doing. We know she's shut down. Got the upcoming schedule here, and these are our final matches in a moment. First, just take a look at the strip because it's just beautiful. Right? I mean, we can watch that all day long. But there you are. Those are your coming championship matchups in a moment. Our apologies on that bottom one. Here's the thing. Still one more semifinal to be played. Remind us who that one is.
That is the defending champion, Amarillo. I know we don't always go with the nicknames and all that type of stuff, but the Amarillo Bombers trying to get a chance to defend their crown as well as they take on the team that they beat in their house last season, 10-8 in overtime against the Cleveland Crunch. We will see what happens. I'm telling you, Ryan, feels like we've been building up to this one all day long. We had a good one to set it up, and I think we got another good one to finish us out here today.
I would agree with you guys, and I'm pumped up for it. I know the fans are pumped for it. I know the Cleveland and Amarillo fans, they've been waiting patiently, anxiously, because this game obviously set back by a little bit of ways, and I hope you guys are well rested for this final game. You guys have been playing, or you guys have been commentating really well all day long. And you guys got to do it one more time.
The voice is just hanging on, Rye.
But we are going to step aside and get ready for the final semifinal here on Semifinal Saturday, as Cleveland Crunch and Amarillo are set to go off at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll see you in the next one.